everyone. So today we're going to jump into Psalms 90 verses 12. And here's some questions just to think about. How do you spend your time? And do you live like it was your last day? Do you make the most of your days and time and the people that you're surrounded with? There's just a few to kind of like meditate on, kind of ask yourself and kind of figure out what do I do with the time that is given to me? So if you look at Psalms 90 verses 12, this is a prayer by Moses. It's actually the only psalm attributed to him, to Moses. And it's a great psalm. So if you want to start at the beginning and go all the way through, it's fabulous. This particular verse just happened to like kind of jump out to me when I was reading one day. And it was basically, I came back from going to my son's birthday, and you know, sometimes when we get consumed in different activities or celebrations, we can often put our faith aside, or we may not take the time to sit down and like just read our Bible, or you know, do the norm. You know, when you're on vacation or you're doing stuff, sometimes you put things off and you don't, it's not like your normal routine, and you like forget. So these 2 days I went down to Old Orchard Beach and I was having fun, and you know, before I knew it, I was just like spiritually drained, and I felt like maybe I just didn't make like the most of the time that I had down there. And this scripture jumped out to me. Like, it says, "So teach us to number our days, that we may gain a heart of wisdom." So Moses is like praying to God, and he says so many things, but this is kind of like in the climax of his prayer. It's like, so teach us to number our days, so we may gain a heart of wisdom. So it's like, if you think about that, it's like, wow, like our days are numbered. Like, we don't know how long we have to live. Maybe tomorrow, maybe we have a year, maybe we have 30 years, maybe, you know, 80. I mean, whatever has been given to us, we don't know the time that we live, right? So it's like Moses is crying out, like, teach us, Lord, so that we may gain a heart of wisdom. So when you live like it was your last day tomorrow, maybe you would make some decisions a little differently, because you're living for the day, not, you know, just not casually, just like, hey, just trying to get by in life. Like, you know, like if you were to go tomorrow, like you would do things that, you know, that you might not do if you didn't have, you know, enough, you know what I mean? So anyways, I just wrote here, it says, you know, you want to make the most with what God has done for you and given you. So like, if he's given you a certain amount of time on earth, like, it's, those days are important, and you want to live as though they are important every day, and there's something to be done each day. You know, it's just not, you know, live life and then you die. No, there's a meaning to our life, right? So if you dig into that Psalms, it's like, teach us. So, you know, Moses is crying out to God and saying, teach me. So it's like, Lord, show me, instruct me, guide me, prepare me, educate me, explain to me, you know, coach, train. If you look at any synonyms that mean the word teach, those are just a few there. Teach me to number. Number is an amount, a quantity, a figure, an integer. So it's like, we have a number on our days of our life, but we don't know that. We know that we're gonna die, our physical. We don't know when, so we know we're gonna die someday. We don't know when, but we do know like our days are numbered, but we don't know that number. But someone does. Only one person. Only God knows. And wisdom. So it's like, teach us to number our days so we may gain a heart of wisdom. Wisdom means just an understanding, a knowledge of like how important we are. Like, we're just like one person in this huge world of like 7 billion people, but there's a reason why we're here. So don't be deceived. Don't think like your life doesn't matter. It does. In fact, like, I'm surrounded by people that maybe you're not around, or, you know, vice versa. So we all are around people for a reason, to encourage, to help, to listen. I mean, just so many different things. So if we want to be wise, we need to learn to number our days. Okay? But we can't, it's hard to know how many days we have. But if we ask the Lord, then He will help us to live as though it might be our last. I don't know. We might take more risks. We might be a little bit more compassionate. Maybe we might be more forgiving. Maybe we wouldn't take people for granted. You know what I mean? So, it's like looking into like, well, how do you gain wisdom? Well, if you just know, okay, God created me, right? Us. So He's the creator. We're the created. It says it in Genesis 1. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Okay. Learning like that our days are numbered, but God's days are not numbered. They're unnumbered. In Job 14 verses 5, it says a man's days are numbered. So God gives that number. We don't. We don't know it, right? We know we're going to die, but we don't know when. God knows. Third, God is eternal, but our lives are passing. In 2 Corinthians 4:16, it says, that is why we never give up. Though our bodies are dying, our spirits are being renewed. So even though we know our days are numbered, and God knows that number, we don't want to give up, because daily He's refreshing us. Our spirits live. So even though our physical bodies will one day pass away, our spirit, our soul will live eternally, with Him, if you believe. Fourth, God's days are without end, but our days are numbered. So I already said that, but so once you kind of get this concept of like, wow, God made the earth. He created us. He's eternal. His days are not numbered. So like, He is probably where the source, that's where wisdom comes from, right? Wisdom comes from God. That's how we can get wisdom. He made us in His image, but He's the source of wisdom. So in order to gain a heart of wisdom, we have to go to the source. Just like when you're thirsty, you don't, you got to go to the well and look for water. I mean, you got to go to the source, right? So with the Lord, you got to be willing to go to Him and say, Lord, help me. I don't know what I'm doing or where I'm going, and He will lead you and, help you gain that wisdom of like making the most of what time God has given you. In Psalms 90 verses 2, it says, this is the Psalm of Moses, it says, Lord, you have been our dwelling place in all generations. Before the mountains were brought forth, or ever, you had formed the earth and the world. From everlasting to everlasting, you are God. So Moses is like completely saying, you're the one that is the source of wisdom from the beginning, everlasting to everlasting. And so we have to remind ourselves, we have to quit looking at ourselves and quit trusting the world for wisdom, and instead look to God, because He's the one who made us. He's the source of wisdom. So why wouldn't you go to where the source, to get wisdom? So many people that look other places. They go to mediums or to witches to get readings or whatever, and it's like, yeah, those people might have power, but their power isn't coming from God. Some of those people that can read your future and all that stuff, they're getting power, but it's not coming from God. And there's only one place it could come from, and it's not a good place to get power from. So I would encourage you, if you are looking into that or have participated into that, to stop. It's directly in the Bible, not to partake in witchcraft. Those powers come from the enemy of our soul, the devil, and it's not good power. So anyways, with that being said, quit looking to other people, for wisdom. Look to Him. open the Bible, look to what He has to say about your life. And when we do that, when we look to Him, we have to pray to Him, like Moses in the scriptures, calling out to Him, crying out, like, you are our dwelling place. And at the climax, please teach us to number our days. The prayer is the foundation of wisdom. Wisdom and prayer go like hand in hand. That's our communication with God. So if we want to gain wisdom, we have to pray to Him and ask Him. It says, and then in Scripture too, there's so many different things from King Solomon, and even in James, it says King Solomon asked for wisdom in prayer, and he gained it. King Solomon, if you look at him, he was a very wise king. Well, where did he get it? He got it from the source. He asked God for it. Okay? So wisdom is often asked for in prayer. It's received during prayer, and it's often a result of prayer. So I encourage you today to dig in, read the Bible, and just say, Lord, what do you have planned for me today? And make room for those interruptions throughout your day so you can bless someone. Maybe call someone up, someone comes to your mind, give them a call, a text. There's just like little nudges where people will pop into your mind, and it's like, oh, maybe I haven't heard from that person in a while, or just little things like that could go a long way and make the most of the days that you have, because you don't know how many days you have to live, right? So I encourage you today, read Psalms 90 verses 12, and it will help you to realize the importance of every day that you live. All right,